Big sagebrush, a member of the larger Artemisia family, can be found on desert hillsides and mountain foothills up to 7,000 feet in elevation, with the largest occurrences in Colorado being in the western half of the state. A system of sagebrush shrublands is characterized by a dense shrubland of taller Artemisia species with a significant herbaceous understory. These taller shrubs distinguish it from sagebrush steppe, which is dominated by the dwarf sagebrush species. Shrublands are typically found in broad basins between mountain ranges, on plains and foothills, and they can be found on flat to rolling hills with well-drained clay soils that are non-salinic. These plants survive where summer is hot, little rain falls, and strong winds blow. Adaptations to the climate include leaves that are covered with tiny hairs that help prevent it from drying out in the heat and wind, as well as some leaves that are shed in the summer when soil moisture becomes scarce. This reduces water requirements. At night, the taproot pulls moisture from deep in the soil and distributes it to shallow branching roots that grow near the surface. The long taproots raise water from deep in the soil and may also transport new precipitation to deeper soils where it is less likely to evaporate. This process may increase water availability for the sagebrush and may also positively affect nearby plants and animals. Hemileuca hera is a silk moth that feeds exclusively on big sagebrush, and its presence is an indicator of a healthy big sage community. The biggest threat to shrublands is fire, which easily kills the plants, making them unable to resprout afterwards. However, fire is also the principal means of renewing old stands. Bromus tectorum, or cheatgrass, increases the likelihood of fire in sagebrush shrublands. Burning may produce dominance of cheatgrass and other invasive weeds. After a fire, sagebrush must reestablish itself from seed. Growth is slow and recovery is slow. Fire suppression in montane grasslands could lead to conservation of Artemisia tridentata shrublands. Further loss of habitat is due to heavy overgrazing from livestock, which increases soil water loss. Therefore, heavily grazed sites are drier and less able to self-sustain. Excessive grazing also reduces the biomass of deep roots, and trampling from livestock drastically decreases the number of shrubs and seedlings. This plant acts as a keystone species, creating a primary ecosystem in which many animals thrive. Animals such as kit foxes, antelope, mule deer, jackrabbits, elk, small mammals, and countless numbers of insects and birds, one of which being the sage grouse, named for its choice in habitat. Sage grouse need sagebrush. In the winter, sage grouse eat sagebrush leaves almost exclusively, and in summer they use the plants to hunt down insects and beetles that live deep within the leaves. However, 70 to 75% of the sage grouse diet is made up of leaves and flower clusters. The sage grouse and its brother gameland birds rely exclusively on big sagebrush as nesting cover. The plant and its inhabitants live together in a dualistic relationship in which the animals help prevent erosion of the shrubland, while the sagebrush provides protection from the elements as well as sustenance to survive. Without adequate sagebrush cover, these animals cannot survive. The Nature Conservancy has focused a lot of effort in protecting and conserving the high-quality sagebrush habitat for future generations. The native peoples of the area learned from the animals that the sagebrush played a significant and vital role to the ecosystem in which it inhabited, and that without it, life would perish. When harvested, the leaves kill bacteria, inhibit free radicals, and contain anti-inflammatory and anti-carcinogenic actions. This makes the sagebrush useful as a cleansing first aid wash for disinfecting wounds and skin irritations. The sagebrush also contains many healing characteristics with bacteriostatic, astringent, and antioxidant properties. Native Americans mainly used the leaves as medicine in the form of a tea for digestive problems, headaches, and colds, also for sore eyes, diarrhea, and to ward off ticks. Using the plant for shelter, its fibers for clothing, dye, and medicine, its bark made sturdy cord, rope, and netting, and when shredded, the bark was used for leggings and overshoes in cold weather. As with many things in nature, the Native Americans believed that the entire sagebrush plant served a practical purpose in everyday life, as well as in ceremony. Sagebrush quickly became the traditional plant used for sweat lodge and ritual purification. Its smoke was used to clear the air of bad spirits and influences. Native Americans who gather this plant for use in rituals prepare themselves spiritually first through prayer and fasting, and then gather sage with an attitude of respect and reverence for Mother Earth. Seeing how the natives were able to nestle into nature by using the sagebrush, we as humans may learn from their example. Protecting the primary ecosystems will allow us to live together with the creatures and plants that were here long before us, and will also awaken our spirits to the biophilia that lies deep within.